Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, so I had time to go back and watch those videos that I made of me and Kyle from the Fundamentals of Finance. So I had a chance to watch those videos over a couple times. Picked up on something that I think is really important. Kyle said something along the lines of the Iraqi Dinar will never revalue. So when I said something about it in the video, he responded by saying, well, what he meant was that Iraqi Dinar will never revalue at a rate that's 1,000 times its current rate. I made a comment that that's not what you said, though. I bring that up for this reason. There's a couple times as I'm watching the videos that the two of us, when we speak about something, we're generally speaking, or there's not enough, in my opinion, context about what we're saying. And so I was chatting with people and I asked a couple of questions. What things would you like to get cleared up? Because I'm sure there are times when we're talking about the Iraqi dinar or what news is being reported and people are not elaborating on it enough. They're not explaining to those listening what this means. I do that in my video, but even I lack details that we should get into. And the reason for that is because sometimes there's so much detail involved in this subject matter that it's just easier to generalize and give a quick answer than to take the time to explain it in great detail. But the detail is really important for people to understand what's really going on. This video is going to be about just clearing up some of the things that are out there being reported and explaining to you about what each one of these are. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, I've spoken about the electronic platform that everybody keeps talking about. For some strange reason, there are individuals out there that create content that are trying to make this a little bit bigger than it needs to. Sure, it's great that Iraq is going to have an electronic payment service provided to them. That's going to bring them more into the future where we are now than being in the Stone Age. In Iraq, the electronic platform service plays a crucial role in modernizing the country's financial infrastructure and promoting financial inclusion. The electronic payment service in Iraq, this will enable individuals and business to conduct various financial transactions, and this could be done electronically, reducing their reliance on cash-based transactions. This is going to enhance the efficiency and security of financial operations. Iraq's electronic payment service is going to play a pivotal role in advancing financial inclusion, promote digital transformation in the financial sector. It's going to enhance transaction security. And of course, it's going to improve the overall efficiency in financial operations within Iraq. I spoke about this before. The Iraqi people are used to doing transactions in just cash. The infrastructure to put this together, this electronic payment service, is being done now. But you have people out there going, oh man, this is really going to do great for the Iraqi dinar's exchange rate. And once this is done, the exchange rate is going to change. Really, it has nothing to do with the exchange rate. What's good about the electronic payment service is the fact that more Iraqi people will be involved with banking business. We know a lot of them keep their money under the mattress. So the more they take in their dinars and get comfortable with using an ATM card or another kind of bank card, this allows the bank then to use that money that is being deposited for other services that the bank can provide. And this will help with one of the liquidity issues that they have. There's some people who are unclear about videos that are being made. When I say that Iraq is relying too much on oil, this is an issue. That's why there is no stability in the economy of Iraq. When 95% of your economy is based on oil sales, then there's always a potential for the economy to take a dive if for some reason the oil prices drop on Iraq. We saw that happen in, was it 2019, 2020, when the oil prices dropped so low, and that really affected them in a negative way. It also affected their liquidity. So the country's economy, as you're aware, is primarily driven by the oil industry. But it also encompasses agriculture, manufacturing, and other services. But the oil that's generated from oil exports, that significantly impacts the government's budget and Iraq's overall economic performance. Historically, agriculture has been an essential part of Iraq's economy. Of course, Iraq had fertile lands along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. They supported the cultivation of crops like wheat, barley, rice, and dates. Additionally, livestock farming, which included sheep and cattle, also contributed to the agriculture sector. And what really affected the agriculture in Iraq was the water scarcity, and it also had infrastructure challenges. And that one sector alone contributed to a pretty good sized decrease in the overall GDP for Iraq. Remember, you heard me complain about how Turkey has several dams blocking the water that come down the Tigris and Euphrates River. And there's even a water agreement between Turkey and Iraq that Turkey would release X amount of water every year to Iraq, and they're doing less than half that. And it's having an effect on their agriculture. Manufacturing in Iraq is one of the other sectors. And we're talking about food processing, textiles, construction, materials, and chemicals. But where manufacturing took a pretty good size hit was with all the conflicts that were taking place within Iraq, especially with ISIS. And not to mention, of course, the sanctions. Right now, we know that al-Sudani is doing everything he can to revitalize this sector because this is going to help diversify the economy beyond oil dependency. So when the content creators are talking about infrastructure and how the monies are being dispersed for projects, a big portion of that is revitalizing manufacturing. Iraq also provides services such as telecommunications and banking, retail and tourism. And services really play a key role in Iraq's economy. And that is despite facing challenges related to infrastructure and security concerns. And of course, like I just mentioned, infrastructure development is going to be a key part of Iraq's economy as well. So infrastructure development is also critical for Iraq's economical growth. So when they do infrastructure, investing in transportation networks, energy infrastructure, telecommunications, of course, these are essential for facilitating trade and attracting foreign investment, which is another key area that Iraq needs to work on. The more Iraq invests in infrastructure, the more money they put into projects, that means there are more jobs available for the Iraqi people. All this are big contributors to stimulating the economy in Iraq. Someone said, is there a liquidity issue in Iraq? Oh yeah, there's a couple reasons for this. Iraq has been facing a liquidity shortage for some time. I was speaking about this before, that in 2018, due to sanctions on Iran, Iraq and Iran agreed that Iraq could pay for their trade deficit to Iran in Iraqi dinars. Since Iran was on sanctions from the United States and could not get their hands on the US dollar, they agreed, of course, to take the Iraqi dinar, and then what they would do was send the Iraqi dinar through the currency auctions, and then the money would be smuggled over to Iran. But the United States got hip to this, and they stopped Iraq from doing this. The issue with this is there's like $14 billion, I think, they sent over to Iran, and they were letting it little by little go through the currency auction. But once the U.S. cut them off from that, the only option for Iran was to turn to the black market. And I spoke about this earlier. But this isn't a fast process. This takes time because the people on the black market you're getting U.S. dollars from, they don't have enough for Iran to convert billions of dollars. Now, what's happened is there are billions of Iraqi dinars stuck in Iran. And that has contributed also to the liquidity issue with Iraq, who needs those dollars being circulated within Iraq. Now, I brought up the issue with them relying so much on oil earlier. The reason for that is if there's a sharp decline in the global oil prices, like there has been in recent years, this reduces the country's ability to generate revenue. And this has led to a shortage of liquidity. So keep that in mind because Iraq has set the price per barrel of oil in the budget at $70 per barrel. And right now the Brent crude oil is selling at $71. This is not good. If it slips anymore, then Iraq is going to definitely be running in a deficit, which you don't want. Iraq has been plagued by political instability and conflict. This has had a negative impact on the country's economy. The ongoing conflict with the terrorist groups ISIS out there, as well as tensions between Kurdistan and the central government. This has disrupted the economic activity and discouraged investors. Iraq's economy is not diversified enough This makes the country vulnerable to fluctuations in the global oil prices. Iraq has dealt with inflation, which has eroded the purchasing power of the Iraqi dinar and reduced the country's ability to finance its spending. Iraq has limited access to international financial markets, which has made it difficult for the country to borrow and finance its spending. So these factors have contributed to the liquidity shortage in Iraq. And of course, this has had a negative impact on Iraq's economy. I hope this helps a little bit and you got a better understanding of what you're up against when it comes to the Iraqi dinar, as well as Iraq and their economy. Anyways, if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. So that's it for now, and I'll catch you later. I'm out.